Okay, so like Omer, ما میدونیم که Kabbalistically speaking, طبق قبالا Omer is 7 times 7, هفت است، اون 7 اتریبیوت های 7 خصلت های اصلی. Right? Human being is like an engine. Our psyche has a lot of different forces and drives. Right? I said this another time. Rambam says the subtotal is 70, it seems somewhere. Right? Haftat the drive there. But there are 7 main drives in a person. 7 main drives که بهشون میگیم چی؟ سفیروت. Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet. All this. Chesed is kindness, Gevurah is discipline. There are 7 things. Now the real تو وجود ما هم اینا وجود داره. خسد خصلت نیست. تمام اینها چیزایی که انسان داره که باید باش کار کنه. حالا you know اینها what really gets very, I don't want to say complicated, but the practical thing is how do we deal with the intersection. To take something simple, it's easy. Loving kindness. But loving kindness comes into intersection of Gevurah. Discipline comes into intersection of humility. There are intersections that go across each other. And how do you deal with it? And what is the right balance that you make it? These are the 49 days, Kabbalistically speaking. Each week, the first week is Chesed. So the first day is Chesed Shebe Chesed. Second day is Chesed Shebe Gevurah Shebe Chesed. Right? It's all that. Now, we are in the 5th week. We finished the 4th week. We're in the 5th week. 5th week is Hod. Is the middah of Aaron HaKohen is humility, Hod. Now, Lag BaOmer is Hod Shebehod. Hod Shebehod. Right? Is the pure humility. Pure humility. It's where the danger of humility for the sake of haughtiness, one has to be very, very careful of. Ruzel Lag BaOmer is Hod Shebehod. Somebody comes to a big Rebbe, says, Rebbe, the Mishnah says, Kol mi sheboreach min hakavod, Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Anybody who runs away from kavod rodef acharav. Kavod chases him down. But anybody who chases kavod escapes from him, runs away from him. So he says, Rebbe, I run away from kavod, but it doesn't chase me. How come? I run away from kavod, it doesn't chase me. So you know what the Rebbe said in a beautiful language, but the lesson is important. He said, yeah, you run away from kavod, but the whole time you keep on looking back to see it's not too far. Right? How fast is it chasing you? And that's not running away. That's not running away means real running away. Meaning what? Somebody is truly humble. Somebody wants to act humble, so everybody says, what a great humble. That's also a form of Gava. That's also arrogance. He wants to say, I am the biggest anav there is. I am the most humble person there is.
Get a medallion.
That's right. Now, one gets it. But the point is, if that's your purpose, that's your intention, so he says, the Rebbe tells him, so really, you are chasing kavod. You're just chasing it from the front. You want him to come to you, right? That's your way of getting it. So you're chasing it. You're not running away from it. Okay. So that's Hod Shebehod. Right? Humility in humility. Humility within humility. But what is important to realize, and that's what I would like to talk about a little bit, and then, Mitzvah Hashem, if you could take this Hod Shebehod into Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. In Zohar HaKadosh, we read it in Patach Eliyahu, which is quote from Zohar, tells us that these Sefirot, a lot of them go in pairs. Chesed and Gevurah, he says what? Dera Yemina, Dera Semola. These 7 form a shape of a human being, if you could. Now, the shape itself teaches us a lot. I don't want to get into that. Right? Chesed and Gevurah are the 2 shoulders. That means they work across from each other. They are not alone, they are not perfect. Right? So what are the 2 legs? The 2 legs are Netzach and Hod. It's a humility goes together with Netzach. Netzach, if I could roughly translate it, persistence and hard work. Right? Persistence. They go hand in hand. When somebody is persistent and confident enough to not give up. I mean, it's unbelievable, but the truth of the matter is, sometimes we lose ourselves, we give up on ourselves for very small things. Let me talk about myself, which is always easier. Right? So I prepare a speech. I think it's a good speech. I think it's something that could help people and whatever. And it has happened. And if you ever spoke in public, you probably know what I'm talking about. You go and you start your speech, and one person in the audience makes a funny face. One person in the audience makes a face like, oh, come on, what kind of nonsense is this? Or whatever. And all of a sudden, you lost all your drive. And unfortunately, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because he made fun of my speech will be ridiculous. Because he ridiculed it, it will be. Because I lose all my self-confidence, and I don't present it well. Right? Now, it could be this guy is upset because he had a fight with his wife. It's very, very possible. It's not necessarily a reflection on what I'm saying. It's a reflection of him or his state of mind. But, so that's the midah of Netzach. As much as if it is true that we need others' input to make ourselves better, to improve. Yeah, it's good. It's good to see that how people reacted to my presentation. So this next time my presentation will be better. I know what people respond to, what people do, all those things. But at the end of the day, I cannot be all about others and there's nothing inside of me, no backbone in there. You need the confidence. That's Netzach. You need to have in mind your own importance, one's own abilities, one's own talents. So now that, and we learned it in Rambam also, but that Netzach goes together with Hod, with humility. The truth of the matter is it's impossible to have one without the other. Who is the most humble man in the history of universe?
Moshe
Rabbeinu. Which we know, as a matter of fact, is the greatest prophet, the greatest person that ever existed. He transcended his humanity to a level that nobody else ever did. So the greatness came together with the humility, which is, in first glance, it seems contradiction. But again, Zohar tells us there are the 2 legs, they work across from each other. You cannot progress one without the other. I'll explain to you why. Right? I usually like to ask a question. Right? You may have heard it from me. Rambam says, one of the Yud Gimel Ikarim, one of the 13 Ikarim, fundamentals of Jewish belief, is that Moshe is the greatest prophet ever. Lo kam beisel ke Moshe od. It's a fundamental in Jewish belief. If somebody does all the mitzvot of Torah, but he doesn't believe that, he says, you know what, I think Moshe's prophecy, Moshe was a prophet like any other prophet, like Yirmiyahu. What is he? He's a non-believer as far as Torah is. The Rambam says he's a non-believer. You don't believe in Judaism. These 13, one must believe to be Jewish. You don't believe it, whatever you are, it's not Judaism. It's incomplete. So one cannot be Jewish without believing this. I don't know, you may have guessed where I'm taking this. So here's a loaded question. Right? What does Gemara say? Oilim omer, oilim lo omer. You'll be stuck regardless of what you answer. So I want to know, did Moshe Rabbeinu believe that or not? Did Moshe believe he's the greatest prophet ever? There will never ever be a prophet like him ever again. Loaded question.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yes.
You say yes, he says no.
God told him
Yeah, I
you're
said no.
the highest.
Yeah.
God
Yeah,
told
but-
him.
So it's a loaded question.
He read Torah.
Right? He read Torah. So, but Torah also says he was the most humble. Nobody else said
He
it.
didn't.
If other people would, if it was a different source, if he was R.Segankohanim who said Moshe was the most humble person in the universe, so he would tell me, you know what, maybe he wasn't. But Torah says he was, so we know he was.
But did he
Yet-
believe it or not? But he didn't.
If you don't believe it, you're not Jewish.
He believed
No,
that.
ولی خود Moshe, did Moshe himself believe that?
That's why it's a loaded question, my friend. If he didn't believe it, he wasn't Jewish.
Oh.
It's a
It's in
13.
the Torah.
It's one of the 13 fundamentals. It's a loaded question.
That's good.
So the answer is absolutely he believed it. He believed it fully with a full heart.
Yeah.
With a full heart, we believed it. The problem is we have a wrong understanding of humility in our mind. Humility doesn't mean I don't believe who I am. I have a doctor over here, right? All of a sudden somebody is not feeling well. Doctor, come help him out. No, I'm not. I'm a nobody. There are other people. You know, you do it. That's not humility. That's stupidity.
Stupidity.
That's stupidity. What do you mean? You are a doctor. You studied this for years. You know it. You deal with it every day. Of course you know what I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You are a doctor. If he doesn't believe that he's a doctor, and if he doesn't believe fully in his own set of expertise, that doesn't make him humble. That makes him an idiot. Excuse me. You don't. You were trained to do this. Of course you got to believe in yourself. Moshe Rabbeinu, you were given now. Except putting aside the fact that yes, somebody needed to be Moshe. That means we needed someone to be on the level of bringing Torah. Now happens to be Moshe brought himself to that level. Fine, perfect. But be that as it may, Moshe realized I'm the one. I'm the one who was able to achieve that level that I could do this and nobody else will ever be able to. I achieved it. That is not anti-humility. That's confidence, and without it you cannot go anywhere. Humility is, gava, arrogance is to believe that makes me better than others. Moshe was the most humble person because Moshe never thought, because I'm the greatest prophet, so that means I am intrinsically better than this person over here who's not a prophet. No, just the opposite. Moshe thought, and he believed, and that's true humility. If I am the greatest, that means I have certain set of expertise, certain set of talents, and I better be able to say, you know what? I did what I could. It makes me feel more responsible. I'm not better than him. I'm more stuck than him. He can't know better. He doesn't know. He can't do everything that I could do. So he is held to a lesser standard than me. I am held to a higher standard. The true humility comes when someone has full confidence in himself. Who is the more humble person? The doctor who feels, look, if I don't do a good job, I am the one to blame, nobody else, because I am the best doctor here. Is he a true humble? Or, right, the doctor, he's the true humble. The reason he feels responsible is because he recognizes his own potential. Look, I am a doctor who could do this. Not many doctors could do this. So the fact that I could save, let's say, this patient, if he doesn't save it, he feels guilty. If he doesn't save it, he knows he is to blame. Nobody else is. Nobody else was able. So the more one is truly believes himself, the more netzach a person has. If it's true, it will give him humility. If it's false, it could give him arrogance. If he believes that I'm better than any other doctor, why? Not because of a recognition of his own talents and whatever. Because he feels I'm I'm just better than them. So then, and that's a reason to be arrogant over them. But if the reason I believe is because I know I have more talents, what? So because I was given whatever it is, I either had the education that he didn't have, or I have the dexterity in my hand that he doesn't have, or I was given the IQ that he doesn't have. I was given certain toolbox, and with my toolbox I could do certain things. He doesn't have the toolbox. That doesn't, what? I should feel better because I was given a toolbox. I wasn't
If he had
given
a toolbox, chances
he may
are he
have.
would do better.
Exactly. So that's why it makes me be responsible. It makes me be, the more you truly believe in yourself, the more humble you are. A person, it goes hand in hand. Nesach, again, Zohar HaKadosh tells us, Nesach ve'od teren shokin. The two legs are Netzach and Hod. You're imbalanced. You cannot stand up with one of them. The more a person has the confidence, if it is, you want to know it's true confidence or wrong confidence, see, does it go with humility and arrogance? So therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu absolutely believed he's the greatest. But what did it translate into? What it translated is when all else was lost after the story of Meragelim. Now, I don't want to get into it. This is a totally side conversation. Meragelim was the end result of Chet HaEgel. The reason Meragelim looked like, all hope is lost, because that was, the end result of Chet HaEgel. It went hand in hand. But be that as it may, we see in Chumash after Meragelim, it seems all hope is lost. Hashem said, no, this nation cannot be. Let me destroy them and I will make you a new nation. Nobody seems to have any confidence that they could restore order. Moshe Rabbeinu, what does Midrash say? En adavar talui ela bi. Says Hashem, I don't let you. Takes a lot of gut to say that. Hashem, I don't let you. Now, that comes from confidence or arrogance. It depends. If one realizes, look, I was given a lot of potential and I must use them and I don't give up, that's Netzach. That is the midah of Netzach. The midah of persistence, the midah of confidence. I don't let you, Hashem. I don't.
Veto power.
Right? I recognize what I could do here. I recognize that I could do. Like that doctor who says, I'm not going to I could. I have the talent. I have the know-how. I have the know-how. Yet he is the humblest person. Does that make you better than anybody else? No, nobody else has got the tool. So it comes with confidence. And why does he bring humility? Because he knows if I don't do it, I messed up, nobody else messed up. Nobody else is just, they can't. But what do you expect from them? Right? If a non-doctor didn't save him, he should feel guilty. What could I have done? The doctor didn't save him. He feels guilty.
That's bad.
Right? Now, when does he truly feel guilty? When he feels responsible. When does he truly feel responsible? When he knows deep down that I really could have. I'm convinced of my powers, my abilities, my potential. So the more, again, a person is confident, the more humble he will be. So this is Hod Shebehod. It's very interesting. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Gemara says in Sukkah, I'll finish with this. Gemara says in Sukkah, Amar Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, B'nei Aliyah Mu'atim. B'nei Aliyah Mu'atim. Right? Those who are into growth. Those who are after achieving true human potential, Mu'atim, are the minority. Are very limited. Ve'im hem elef, and if there are but 1,000 of them in the whole universe, aniu banai Elazar mehem. Me and my son, Rabbi Elazar, are two of them, are two of the 1,000. Ve'im hem chamesh ma, and if there are 500 of them only in the world, ani ve'Elazar beni mahem. Two of them are myself and Elazar, my son. If there are 100, if there are 50, if there are only 2 people in the world. Right? Ani ve'Elazar benihem. Right? It's me and Elazar beni.
That you're
What?
working harder to what? Yeah.
What is he talking here? I mean, you could look at this statement and it's like the most arrogant statement a person could make. What was he saying? B'nai Aliyah. The first two words of this statement is the key. To have the confidence, to have the self-esteem to grow no matter what. Right? Sometimes you're stuck in a place, right, where, you know what, people around me are not into it. So it, like I said, by my example of the speech, it takes away your resolve. So he says, if there are only 1,000 people in the world, I will still be resolved. We are in the, vast, minute minority. 1/100% doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I will remain confident in my mission. And if there are 500, and if it's only me and my son, we will still remain resolute in what our mission is. We won't lose ourselves. We won't give up. And we won't lose our confidence just because nobody around us is doing it. And that is the absolute counterweight you need to somebody's hod shebehod. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was hod shebehod. Humility within humility. There was nothing, right, selfish about what he did. I mean, just imagine what it takes to go for 13 years, have no contact with the world outside, no contact whatsoever, zero. But be able to, right, do it. He doesn't need kavod, he doesn't need recognition. But such a person is at a danger. Like Rambam said, if I don't need other people's recognition, by the way, I would never recommend in our generation anybody be like we cannot. With no recognition, with no encouragement, we cannot keep our resolve. He said he could be that humble. Why? The Gemara in Sukkah is the answer. Because his resolve, his self-confidence, his netzach was so strong, measure for measure. The stronger your hod is, you need the same type of netzach to go with it. In the same type of netzach. So he said, my netzach is, if I'm the only one, me and my son are the only one who are Bnei Aliyah in the world, it will not diminish our drive and our passion. We will continue who we need to be. That's our confidence. No matter who will tell us what, we are so sure of our mission. Right? I said it yesterday also. Rabbi Noach Weinberg said that Esh was his 5th yeshiva. He started this idea that he had, a yeshiva for Kirov and how we could affect. He started it 4 times, and in his words, was epic failures. Now, a lesser man, after 1 would not have started, but after 2 or 3, no one would have restarted it. But he had the netzach, he had the confidence of his project. Right? The project is going to work. I'm sure he readjusted it, he refigured it. The small things needed recalibration. But he was very confident in his core mission of what he was doing. And you see, now we see, right, 45 years later, we see the result, right? But it takes a certain netzach. It takes that netzach. And that's what Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was saying. He has the resolve that even if the whole world calls him crazy, he's convinced of his mission. Okay, so I guess we could say some sort of Chag Sameach for Lag BaOmer, but
a question. Hod Shebehod has anything to do with 8 or 8?
it's 5th of 5th. I don't know.
No. What I'm saying is, so how much
Humility, 8th of an 8th, 1/64th. Right?
Has nothing to do
That's the Gemara in Sutta. You may have it. I don't know. Right.
but